You are listening to Singularity, Episode 18. Today we'll be discussing Part 2 of Chapter 3 in A Course in Miracles. I am Angie, your host of Singularity, a podcast where we're not afraid to ask the questions that lead us to our truth. Each season we'll be discussing our way through a different sacred or inspired text. Join us with Season 1 as we find our truths in A Course in Miracles, the advent or beginning of a great awakening. And just as the Course itself will tell you, this is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others. This one only differing in form. They all lead to God in the end. So go ahead and grab your coffee, have your pen and paper handy, and the text if you have it. Don't forget, a free version is available online at acourseinmiraclesnow.com. Now the journey in discovering our truths starts right now. Here we go. Welcome, Miracle Makers. I'm glad you've taken time for yourself today, and I'm thankful you're sharing it with me. In today's episode, we're going to be covering Part 2 of Chapter 3, Miracles as True Perception. Let's start with paragraph 1. Opposites. The basic concepts of opposites mentioned within the Course, like light and darkness or everything and nothing, have no in-between connecting one to the other. However, for some reason, we see ourselves within non-existent levels between these two opposites, levels we believe connect them. But in order for us to move forward in understanding these concepts, we have to get it in our head that it's not possible to have any variance between opposites, because at any given moment, we can only be one or the other. We can't be both simultaneously. We can't be some light and some dark, or a little of everything and also nothing. We must make a set choice, or our minds will continue to bounce from one concept to the other. Remember, setting our mind on darkness or nothing isn't a possible choice because they don't really exist. And it's really impossible to exist and not have experienced light or something. Really, whether we think we can or not, it's impossible for us to deny truth totally. Paragraph 2. Wisdom. So with that said, we can't be a little innocent or kinda sorta innocent or somewhat innocent. True innocence only works when we are all in. We can't return to our innocent state until we set our choice on love. Then we will reach our full true innocent state. Because the mind of a true innocent has remembered how to perceive only love. The main thing that makes true innocence innocent is their awareness of being whole or divine. It isn't partial. There are no hesitation. There are no missing pieces. Innocence doesn't have a need to hide or lie, and they realize it's possible to communicate with each other without any lies. No sarcasms, no deceptions, no exaggerations, or any of the things that people use to confuse the truth. I took that last line from the movie Powder because I think it fits perfectly with what the Course is trying to say here. Now, being partially innocent is understanding our wholeness and seeing our wholeness connection with everything, just not all of the time. Once innocent sees its wholeness connection to everything all of the time, they will have true wisdom. We see the familiar term true perception here in paragraph 2, and the text is bringing it up to tell us true perception and innocence are actually one and the same, and true perception is seeing only truth with no misperceptions. Another way to say it would be to see only what is real. Paragraph 3, perfection. When we say we don't trust someone, what we're really saying is we aren't seeing the divine within them, and in that split second we establish a belief that they aren't in their right mind. However, the truth is all of us are divine, and when we aren't seeing the divine in someone, it's because we aren't seeing with our right mind. When we get caught up in the physical information we perceive around someone, we may be projecting or someone may be acting out, and usually it's a combination of both. But this is a distorted perception. What's happening in that split second is we're putting our power of belief against the person instead of giving our power of belief toward the miracle. The miracle sees everything as it is, and since truth is all that exists, then this means right-minded thinking only sees perfection. So if we're not seeing the divine or the perfection in someone, then really in that moment, we are in our wrong mind. Remember, it has been said, all that really exists is what God created or what we've created from God's will, and innocence will only see what really exists because they don't experience distorted perception. Paragraph 4. Heaven. We fear God's will because we know we've been using our mind for our own personal misuse, so we can ignore or shut out God's will to establish our own. But because God's will is programmed within our very DNA, we can never forget our minds were designed to be linked to the universal mind for the purpose of creating and maintaining wholeness, not separateness. The mind does this when it believes it's not free, but really an imprisoned mind places and holds itself there. The walls of this prison are built by the limits the mind puts on itself, because it knows when the will is put away, it limits the mind, and with the mind being walled off by these limits, it can feel separate. But to be one is to be linked to the universal mind and will, and when the universal mind links with the universal will, heaven is formed. I'll say it this way too. To be at one is the same as to be in heaven. Paragraph 5. The Trinity. Nothing is more powerful than when we use our minds to make choices based on the overall good of everything, and turn our will and our needs over to the needs of everything instead. When we do this, our mind wakes up and remembers what all of this is for, that we've connected to everything and every small action is connected to a greater one. The Course gives us a breakdown of the Trinity here. So we, as spirit, are a part of the whole, the sonship, the only begotten Son of God, and together we are the embodiment of God. These three make the one, and the one makes the three. This movement from one to the all and the all to the one, if seen at a far distance from space, would it look like a pulse, or a breath, or a heartbeat? Within this Trinity, there's nothing to confuse because all three are of one mind and one will. Where one ends, the other begins. Having this one mind and one will creates perfect wholeness where the peace of God is found. Only the truly innocent can give sight to how this is possible. With their pure hearts, they only see the truth, and all of their belief power is being put towards seeing the truth. Having set their mind on love and truth, they see, act, and perceive only from love and truth. This is being in the true state of mind. The last paragraph of part 1 talks about this too, telling us when we are in that state, we will know God, and not just symbolically, but really know Him. This part of the text points out 1 John 3:2 from the Bible, which reads, "When He shall appear, or be perceived, we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is." Another interpretation says it this way, "Loved, we are now God's children, but it is not yet clear what we will become. But we know that when Christ appears, we will be like Him, because we will see Him as He really is." The way I would tie this verse into what the Course is covering here in part 2 is this. Innocent. We know now we are a part of the whole of God's creation. And with our free will to create within God's will, we don't know exactly the creative collaborative outcome. But what we do know is we will recognize, we will see God or love or truth or divine when it presents itself within ours and others' creations. And the reason we will see it is because we recognize the divine within ourselves, and we know they are one and the same. Chapter 6. The Miracle. The best way for us to get out of this deeply embedded mindset of miscreating is to take every ounce of our belief and tell our mind we no longer want to live in this world of delusion that we've created, and we want to take every bit of our creative will and project truth. If we do this and make practiced, conscious effort to be of the true mindset, we cannot miscreate. Another thing we must do is accept only the truth in everything we perceive. So we have to work out within ourselves whatever it is we have to work through to make what is truth true for us. Truth is always what rises up. The errors will fall away, and we will know which is which because of how we will feel when we hold it in our mind. The truth will bring our minds relief. It will elevate, and error thoughts will carry emotional weight. It will take from us. And when we begin to perceive love and truth, we see love and truth within ourselves and others, making it even easier for us to weed out the untruths because we'll get to that point where we won't even see them. And because we start to see others for who they truly are, they'll begin to see themselves for who they truly are. We accept their truth, making it so that they can accept their own truth. This is the healing the miracle brings. That wraps up this episode. The thoughts I share in each podcast are my best interpretation of what resonated as truth for me. I love to share them with you. My intention is to evoke your own thoughts that will make rise within your awareness your own truth. Thank you for being a part of my journey and for allowing me to be a part of yours. With your coffee still warm and your notes fresh, take some time to go inward. Align yourself daily with your truth and take it with you into every experience. And until next time, keep shining.